How's it going, YouTube? This is the General coming back. Sorry I haven't been around. Last week I released 3 videos. This week I have released none. It's been a busy week for me. I was finishing up things with college and picked up my associate's degree today, and I was very excited about that. And then soon I'll be heading to my next semester, working to get my bachelor's degree. But I finally got to pick up my books, and I've been reading them, and I want to talk about the ones that I bought this week and what I thought of them. So, to start off, I bought the issue 3 of Gideon Falls by Jeff Lemire. This has been a very fun book. If you haven't already started reading it, I highly recommend while they're on such a low number. Jeff Lemire has yet again another fantastic story developing. And I was talking to a friend of mine, and I told him that I believe that this actually could be a TV show one day. I wouldn't be surprised at all if they attempted to do that. Again, it's a very well written and drawn book, and it's kind of more of like a horror style that has a lot of mystery to it. And I love these covers that they have for them. You know, I'll show you which ones they have. This is the second one, and I love how they do it with the faces. But for the first one, there was actually a variant cover I had to get, so I have 2 copies of number 1, and I have the cover C, and I really like this. Is the, I guess, monster that's in Gideon Falls, and everything circles around him in this barn. But again, definitely check this out. This was probably my favorite book this week that released. So do yourself a favor and check that out. And then I didn't get to read this. I got this last week. The New Mutants number 3. I thought it was pretty good. We finally understand where they're going exactly now, what the story is, and what it's developing into. I'm a huge fan of the character Magic. In this story, I'll be honest, I never read the original New Mutants. That's something I want to get into. I think she doesn't show up till issue, I want to say 15 in the original series, but ends up becoming like a main focus of it. And I don't know if she is a leader of the team back then, but I know she's a leader in this one. It is not a bad book. I like Rosenberg. I think he's a pretty good writer. This one maybe I'd give it about 7.5. So I would say. And then this one I haven't read yet, but I wanted to show you. I like this cover. Unfortunately, it's written by Mark Waid. I'm trying to stay away from Mark Waid stuff with everything that's going on and the bullying that he does, but I had to get this. This will probably be my last one I buy from his series. I just wanted this cover specifically. I just think it's really well done. And then other books I've read. I love this one, Cable. Zach Thompson on this run has been fantastic. The art is great. The story is great. Again, another one that if you haven't jumped on board, definitely do. I think there are only two other books in this series so far. Maybe it's 3. It might be 3. And I love the covers. Originally, I bought this. I started this series because of the covers, because it's done by Daniel Warren Johnson, who's one of my favorite comic book artists. A guy who wrote Extremity, and when I heard that he was doing these covers, I got really excited, so that made me start buying them. But Cable has always been one of my favorite Marvel characters. His run with the artist John Malin was really good a couple months ago, so if you get a chance, check out that one. But definitely, if you're looking for a current run of Cable, Zach Thompson's writing one of the best stories yet. And then I finally read Moon Knight 194. I'll be honest, I didn't like it that much. I'm not really huge into the Max Bemis run. His stories, they always seem like they're going to go somewhere, and then, I don't know, they're very anticlimactic in my opinion in the way he does the stories. This one was a little bit better, but his last story arc really disappointed me, so I'm not sure how much longer I'll stay with his run. This one was okay. I'd probably give it a 6 out of 10. 6 or 6.5, I'm not sure. But yeah, this was not one I would recommend. And then Avengers issue 2 by Jason Aaron. This one wasn't, in my opinion, as good as the first one. The art is fantastic as always, but the story to me is just not that great. It was as cinematic as you could call the first issue. This one just kind of drags. I didn't think it was as interesting. The portrayal of most of the characters is pretty good, but I don't understand what they're doing with She-Hulk. If I remember right, She-Hulk was actually like really intelligent. I haven't read a lot of She-Hulk books, but this one it seems like they've made her more as the Hulk than they have She-Hulk. And if I'm wrong, let me know. But unless this is a part of the all new Marvel idea that they have, I'm not sure. But yeah, it was okay. Will I pick up the third issue? Maybe, hoping that it gets better. Especially now that we know who the villain is. It might be interesting, but I don't know. So this is a maybe or maybe not. And then, so that's all the books that I picked up this week. One book I want to recommend that is from my graphic novel library, if you haven't read it, check it out, is Wrath of the Eternal Warrior. And if you have never heard of this is a Valiant book. An Eternal Warrior is a character that he can die, and then he ends up in other times of history. And this has a great story, has a great artist on it. And this one, basically, the first book focuses him in his heaven. And after he just dies and he's in his heaven and visiting his wife and the kids that he's had throughout time, and contemplating if he wants to go back to Earth or does he want to just stay here and live out his days in this eternity. Highly recommend this. I got this really cheap. I used to have a Hastings by me, and when it was closing, I got it for $3. Nobody was even looking at Valiant books. They were basically stacked all over the graphic novel shelves, which I was kind of upset about. I'm a huge Valiant fan. Speaking of that, this week, the new Bloodshot, I believe it was Bloodshot issue 10 came out. I didn't pick it up. I love Bloodshot the Salvation, another Jeff Lemire run, but I decided not to. It was another one-shot book where basically they're talking about his dog, and that's okay. It's nothing that I need to read. I'm waiting for them to start to end the story arc. I feel like that the story arc has just been dragging on a little bit. As good of a read as it is, with all this stuff going on now that they're doing with the Harbinger Wars 2, there's a few titles right now I'm not picking up. I'm also not picking up Exo Manowar, who is my actual favorite hero by Valiant, but they're doing this weird where they're going back in time and showing you him before he becomes Exo Manowar, and it's because he's such a huge focus of the Harbinger Wars 2 that he's basically going to be a main focus in that book, so they don't want to do a whole lot in his actual series. Which, that's okay. I've heard that will end in August, and then they'll get back on track to him being actual Exo Manowar. So until then, unfortunately, I'm not going to pick it up. But, I only have so much money on comics, and there's other comics I'd rather read if they're going to keep showing me my actual heroes. And then my music recommendation of the week is Camelot Ghost Opera. This is the Second Coming edition. This has a couple bonus tracks on it. This band is a metal band, and they have kind of a power metal / symphonic. The head singer, Roy Khan, is one of my favorite singers, and this band just kicks ass. If you get a chance, check them out on iTunes or Amazon, or I believe they're on Spotify. So definitely do yourself a favor and check that out. And I want to thank you again for checking out this channel, and I hope you have a great week. Bye.